Hello peeps, this is Tango, and welcome back to Tango's World of Fix. Today I'll be reading The Verdant Analyst, Chapter 7, Is It Sanitary to Kiss a Dead Body? Here's the summary. Izuku kisses a dead body, and patrol goes for the first time, and someone overhears something. And then there's some notes at the end of the chapter, Okay, here's the chapter. Today was Izuku's first patrol. It had been 7 years since he escaped his father and 2 weeks since the infamous sludge villain attack. Plus, it had been a few weeks since Bisexual Day, and he had shown himself as a vigilante for the first time. Izuku had hung out with Shinzo a lot since they had been training together. That went well, and they trained for hours, and afterwards they went to the Vigilante cat and hung out. Izuku had been invited to the Bakugos as Hanako for dinner. He had gone, though he was pretty nervous since he didn't want to have them recognize him. And they didn't, so he was grateful. After dinner, Izuku and Katsuki had talked about how Izuku had told him he was planning to start vigilante work on the next Saturday, and continue doing that every night, allowing a few hours of sleep so that he wouldn't go to school tired. Bakugo wasn't too happy about the full vigilante thing, but he decided to let it be. They decided to train together after school on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Anyways. They liked practicing together, and soon they had very similar fighting styles. He had also celebrated Bisexual Day with Celeste and Tango, his 2 bi friends / neighbors. He got his suit on and grabbed his weapons. He had recently decided the weapons he wanted to use were kunai, daggers, and he kept some extras hidden all over his persona, just in case of emergencies. He also carried some mini ducks that he had found in the storage room in a small pouch on his belt. He kept the green ones so that he could leave them where he had done something, like catch a villain, or maybe he could give them to witnesses or people he had helped. The neighbors and him had decided, as a group of vigilantes who all use ducks, that they should have a group name for when they work together. They decided on the Ducklings. They even had a joint email, YouTube, TikTok, and they all had access to it. Izuku had the green ducks, Irene took the orange ones, Celeste took the purple ones, Tango got the red ones, and Amane got the gray ones. The ducks matched each of their vigilante outfits, and that's why their group name is called the Ducklings. Apparently, the email, TikTok, and YouTube, for a while, had already been a thing. They had 1,000 followers, even though they had only posted 6 videos, not including the live stream with Izuku. The first video was just Tango or Vigilante Sing-Song and Celeste, or the illustrator, taking down some villains together. They had gotten 50k views, and somehow many of the comments were shipping them, and that is the reason the video of them after that came out. They basically cleared some things up, saying how they were best friends and they liked other people anyways. They were honestly like siblings and considered each other as besties, though they were kind of sisters as well. They thought it was hilarious. The video after that was of them walking through a drive-thru, which people thought was funny. The 4th was them running from the police, an injured cat following them. That's why the next video was them bringing the cat to a cat cafe. The 6th video was of Sing-Song, Illustrator, and Cub patrolling. It switched screens a few times to show Misty, Amane, while they hacked or helped them, and it was kind of an introduction to all of the Ducklings. They also added himself in the next video after Misty, since he hadn't gone patrolling yet. Tango and Celeste are not a ship, okay? That's a note from the author. Anyways. Once he was done changing into his vigilante costume, he walked up the stairs into the roof of his building. He checked the time, 11:34. It wasn't too late. "Let's try this," he mumbled, calculating as he jumped from the roof to the next one. "Not that hard. It's doable," he notes as he starts to get the hang of jumping from rooftop to rooftop. He had done some parkour, although it was his weak point, especially for scaling buildings. Sure, he can run really fast across rooftops, but there are many other aspects of parkour that were hard for him. 2:03. He was walking around after finding absolutely no crime to stop. Now he wished his luck quirk was off. Maybe that was the trigger to turn it off, because a second later, he fell off the roof mid-jump. Luckily, it was a shorter building, so he was okay. He landed on his feet somehow, like a kitty. And when he looked up, he saw someone breaking into the graveyard in front of him. Yeah, now he was sure his luck quirk was on bad luck. There was absolutely no way he would find any crime if it was on good luck. He walks up to the kid. The kid breaking into the graveyard, who had just finally broken the lock, he now walked in past the gate. Hey, what you doing? Analyst says to the kid, scaring him out of his boots. Ah! The boy says, putting his arms up in self-defense. Hey, don't worry, I won't hurt you. If you come peacefully as long as you do. He says, walking closer to the kid. That didn't make sense. I'm sorry, sir, the boy says, clearly scared. Nah, it's fine, but before I turn you in, why are you breaking into the graveyard? He says in a questioningly tone. That didn't make sense. Oh, my grandfather passed away recently, and he left me this note, the kid says, pulling out a neatly scrolled up note and passing it to him. My grandfather loves puzzles, and he left one last one so when he dies, whoever solves it can get the family heirloom. My family didn't care enough, but I do, since it was his dying wish, and it stays in the family, as long as I have anything to do with it. Anyways, I solved the puzzle, and apparently it's buried with his body. Oh, why didn't you say so? I can help. Since you're related and it was his dying wish, it's very heroic of you to do that. So, where's his grave? And how do you plan on digging it up? He says, walking through the gate and handing the kid the note. Oh, okay, the kid squeaked. Follow me. My quirk is a mutation. It gives my hand retractable tools, so I can turn my hands into shovels, he says, clearly embarrassed, as they walk through the graveyard. That's an awesome quirk. Don't be embarrassed, the analyst says, and then thinks, that's good that I won't be accidentally stealing his quirk. Pool has been acting up since I haven't been able to use it all these years, and it'll be hard to hold back. It's good that he has a mutation, but it's been 7 years, and for some reason, it's always acting up around this time of year, and so I have to be extra careful, and this is crazy difficult with all the dead bodies that have quirks here. Oh, mister, we're here, the kid says, tapping his arm. Oh, right, sorry, he says, getting out of his thoughts. Okay, well, I'm gonna start digging. What can I do? Analyst says to the kid, as his hands transform into shovels and he starts digging. Oh, nothing. I can just do it myself. Maybe you could help me open the casket once I get to it, he says, digging super fast. Sure, sounds good. As the kid digs deeper and deeper, he doesn't feel anything, basically anything at least. Not from the grave. Normally he feels the power of the quirks, so maybe his grandfather is quirkless? Hey, was your grandfather quirkless? No, he had a minor healing quirk that let him heal himself and others, but it wasn't very strong. Okay, can you help me open the casket? He says, looking up at Izuku. Oh, yeah, sure. My quirk enhances the quirk I steal, which makes most quirks I stole when I was younger too strong for my body, except they're minor ones, like minor speed enhancement. But there is also the luck quirk. His thoughts are interrupted again when the top of the casket pops off, and the old figure with his hair falling out could be seen. Suddenly, Bull turns on and takes the quirk of the old man. The analyst faints right onto the dead body, his mouth landing on the dead man's closed lips. Mister? Oh, you're waking up, the kid says happily. Well, what happened? He says, confused. Well, you glowed for a second and then you fainted. It was quite funny. You landed on his lips. The lips of my grandfather. The kid says, laughing awkwardly. Ew, that's quite annoying. Welp, did you get your family heirloom? He says, embarrassed. Yeah, I did. I closed the casket and put the dirt on top, so you could probably tell something happened, which is not very good, but oh well, the kid says nervously. Nah, don't worry, I doubt anyone will care, he says, standing up as they head to the gate. Strange. That was such a crazy first patrol. Never thought it would go like this. Let me walk you home. It's getting late. You shouldn't be walking around at 3 a.m. Okay, mister, thanks. The kid squeaks as they start walking around, presumably towards the kid's house. Call me Analyst, he says, showing the notebook that says analysis on it. Okay, Analyst. Well, my house is pretty nearby. It's only a few more blocks from here, the kid says, shrugging. Okay then, he says. Then he senses eyes on them. He chooses to ignore it for now. The rest of the walk was relatively quiet, though Analyst felt like he was still being watched. He gave the kid a green duck, and after he dropped him off, he decided to take the rooftop, so maybe whoever was following him wouldn't be able to follow. That didn't work. I like singing this part, by the way, because the author put it in, they have a lot of references. Anyways. Show yourself. I know you're watching me. Show yourself, he says, stepping onto a rooftop. I can see you. You must have really good senses to know I was there, the figure says, stepping from the shadows. Ha ha! I was lying, and you fell for my bluff. Ha ha ha. Analyst says, turning to where the figure had spoken from. Well done, I wish my students were as observant as you. Enlighten me, what's your name? The man says, stepping from the shadows. Oh. You first, and maybe I'll do the same, he says, though he definitely won't be doing that. Nice try, but two can play this game. Nice try, but two can play this game. I love that. The man says, stepping out of the shadows, and he was more visible, and so he was closer for attacks as well. Nah, don't be modest. I know you're an underground pro, so let's be honest, you are a racerhead, he says excitedly, and a hint of mocking in his tone. I'm surprised you know me, shorty, Eraser says, stepping closer. Of course I know you. You're my favorite. Well, I've got to go. Pardon my rudeness, Eraser, he says, jumping on the next rooftop. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad, he thinks, as he runs from Eraserhead, though he was still close behind. After a 20-minute chase, Izuku turned on his comm to ask Amane for a quick escape. They, of course, answered soon, and a puff of smoke came up behind him. He sped off back to his home. Thanks, Misty. Sorry if I woke you up. Nah, it's fine. I was already awake since Cub's on patrol, Misty says over the comms. How's your first patrol? They say to Izuku as he lands on the roof of their building. It was fine. I'd rather not go into detail. Well, that's good. Wow, I've got to go. I have Cub waiting on me on the other channel. See ya, they say, and turn off their comm. Izuku gets to his room and slips into some pajamas before sitting down on his bed. 3:23. Hanako. Hey, sorry for the early message and sorry to wake you up, but you told me to always let you know when I get back from patrol, and today was my first, so I thought I would text you since you asked, and are you sure you don't want me just to text you in the morning? Katsuki, 3:24 a.m. Don't apologize, and yes, continue to write me even if it's 3 a.m. I was just rewatching an All Might movie. Since it's your first patrol, I couldn't sleep until you got back safe. I won't do this every time, but it's just the first time, you know? Hanako. Aw, Kachan, you're so sweet. Katsuki. I am not. Hanako. You are. 3:27. Katsuki. By the way, you will be telling me exactly what happened tomorrow, after school. I already told my old hag I'm hanging out with you. Hanako. Oh, well, okay. Better not make fun of me, and my lips are no longer virgin. Katsuki. Screw school. I'm leaving a note on the table. I'm on my way. Hanako. What? 10 minutes later. That damn nerd, what the fuck does he mean? Did he get kissed? Katsuki's mind is racing as he stomps up the stairs to his best friend's room, not bothering to knock as he opens the door and promptly walks in. Kachan, you don't need to come. You misunderstood what I meant, Izuku says as he stands up from his bed where he was sitting. There's a time skip. That surprisingly makes sense. But what the fuck? Did he even get a quirk? Katsuki says, loudly, of course. Did you use mouthwash? After? Like, ew! Kachan, it's not a big deal. And yes, I used 48 bottles of mouthwash, and I'm pretty sure I got the quirk. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be a normal healing quirk, so it won't be like any of the ones that I can't use, so it'll just be a normal quirk for me. That's a lot of mouthwash. And right, because your stupid-ass quirk enhances your quirks but not your body. That's pretty fucking annoying, but at least you can heal yourself now, right? He says, not as loud as the first time, but yet, still loud. Yeah, I still have to train with it, because there's no way I'll be able to use it if not. He looks annoyed about it, while Katsuki laughs at his misery. They stay up for an hour more, Izuku writing who knows what, while Katsuki watches TikToks. Hey, Izuku, I found this trend that we should do. It's called Two Best Friends in a Room. They might kiss, but the funny part is we don't actually kiss. Unless you want to, that is, he says, wiggling his eyebrows. What? Izuku says, turning red as Katsuki chuckles. It was a joke, Izuku, he says in a soft tone. Wow, his voice sounded so soft, and that was so embarrassing. Ah! Izuku thinks as he blushes from embarrassment. It really shouldn't affect him this much. This causes Katsuki to go into a laughing fit, making Izuku even more embarrassed than before. He jumps onto Katsuki, making him fall over, and they were wrestling playfully. Downstairs in Irene's room. Tango, do you hear that? Irene says as she sits up on her bed. Huh? What? It's too early for this. Go back to bed. Tango says, yawning and falling asleep again. Okay, but I think Izuku has the angry blonde guy over again. She says, slowly laying back down. Tango's eyes fly open. Do you think our ship has sailed for reals this time? She turns her head to Irene. Sure sounds like that. I mean, it's not like they're wrestling. Irene replies, and the two of them laugh at the comment and go back to bed. That's funny, they actually are. Anyways. Oh gosh, let's go. This is Sukachi, let's go. Okay, anyways. So you're saying you met this new vigilante and you let them go, Sukachi says, groaning tiredly. Shota rolls his eyes. Who knows if they even were a vigilante? Sure, they looked like one, but it could have been a one-time thing. Plus, I didn't let them go. They got away. I didn't use my quirk on them because... Anyways, if they are appearing more than one time in the future, it'll be handy to have an idea what their quirk is. And I figured they might use their quirk, and they did. It seems they have some kind of mist quirk, though it could have been a smoke bomb. Okay, well, how did this vigilante look? The detective said, opening his computer to look at the vigilante in the area to find the one that fit the description. Well, when I saw them, they were with some kid, and I assumed they were helping them. And before leaving the kid, he gave him some green duck. Did it look like anything like this? Sukachi asked, showing a picture of the same duck alongside a purple one, red one, orange one, and a gray one. Yeah, that green one's exactly it. I didn't see any of the other colors, though, he says, raising an eyebrow. Do you know who this vigilante is? Perhaps, and if I'm right, then this may be a big problem, the detective says, looking up something and then turning the screen towards Shota. That's him, he said, surprised, as he looked at who he had seen earlier that day. Shoot. Okay, well, this guy has become very popular with some other vigilantes. They work as a group and they call themselves the Ducklings, which honestly is a pretty silly name, but it fits because they always give out the trademark little ducks. They're all different colors and each has their own color. It seems you met the newest member who hasn't introduced himself with a name, since he didn't know what to go by. Word on the street is that he used to be known online as the Analyst in a different area, and now he decided to go patrolling. He actually used to help out around your old patrol areas. Maybe you encountered him once? I think I may have. He may have helped me out over the comms a few times. His voice was always distorted, like today, but it seemed like he was wearing a voice changer. I definitely see them being the same person, plus this kid had a notebook with him that said analysis on it. For now, we can just assume they're the same person until we have further proof, he says, sighing. Sounds good. Will you be the one in charge of trying to take him in? Not like I have a choice anyways, he says tiredly. Thanks. Also, keep an eye out for the other 4 members of the group. Normally they work separately, but they are still dangerous. Sukachi puts up a picture, clearly screenshot it from a video. This is them together. The first one in the green outfit is Verdant, the one you met. His duck is the green one. The one next to him is Misty, who has been patrolling only a few times, though many of their ducks have been found. They have the gray duck. They have a group YouTube channel called The Ducklings, and you can keep an eye on that in case they leak any information. The one next to Misty is Cub, who is suspected to have some kind of bear quirk, though it could just be a mutation of ears and tail. She has the orange ducks. Next to that is Sing Song, And based off of her name, her quirk is probably music or singing related, though we really don't have any details. Her ducks are the red ducks. Next to Sing Song is the illustrator, who has been suspected to have been writing or drawing or painting quirk. Her ducks are the purple ones. Wow, you know it's rare to find a vigilante group these days. The two men chuckle tiredly and say their goodbyes as Shoto leaves. 6:32. Hitoshi. Hey, Hanako, you haven't been online for a while. Is everything good? 6:35. Hanako. Oh yeah, everything's fine. I've been training with a friend of mine since he's applying for UA soon. He needs to be ready for the entrance exam, so we're helping and doing some community service and cleaning up Dagoba Beach. Hitoshi. The loud one? The one you're always talking about? If we both get in, maybe we'll be in the same class. That's nice, maybe? I would like to join you, but I'm training a lot with Eraserhead, and he's pretty strict on getting rest, and there was this one time I didn't get rest, and he wouldn't train me for weeks because he said the body needs proper rest to, or whatever, I don't know. Hanako. Don't worry about it. Yeah, he is explosive and loud, but I'm confident he's going to become an amazing hero. One of the best. He's super strong and amazing, and you are too, and I'm sure you'll both get in. But you'll probably even be in Class 1A. Do you need me to help you with anything before you get into the harder training and the entrance exam next month? Hitoshi. No, it's okay. You seem to really like him. You always talk about him. Hanako. Smiling a face emoji. 7 a.m. Saturday. 1 week after the entrance exam. Hello, Verdant. A voice says from behind the young vigilante. Who, me? He turns around to see Eraserhead standing unimpressed. Ah! He says, almost falling off the rooftop where he was currently sitting. But before he was able to fall, something wraps around his waist, pulling him back on the roof. Careful, problem child. Wait, how do you know I'm a child? He says in a defiant tone. And here's my answer. How old are you? 18? 20? That's what you count as a kid? Wow. Then it hit him. Wait a second, you call me Verdant. I don't have a name yet. Oh, yeah, I figured. Your scoot is green, your ducks are green. You are very green. There are other vigilantes who also use green, but some of the good ones took the colors of green that are like Viridian, so I just went with Verdant, since that's what I'm going to remember you by now. Though some people at the police station, along with a friend of mine, have been calling you the Verdant Analyst, since we're pretty sure you're an old analyst who stopped working around 3 months before you started. So, are you him? He asked questioningly. Oh, yeah, that's me. At least it's a cool name, I guess. You can call me that. I don't really mind. Plus, you are my favorite hero. He pauses. I haven't seen you patrolling much lately. I only saw you twice this month. UA entrance exams, he says nonchalantly. Verdant thinks for a second before finally realizing. Oh my gosh! I can't believe I got my vigilante name from the all-time favorite hero, Eraserhead! Oh my gosh. Ah! Oh, that's crazy. Oh my god, that's crazy. Oh my god. He starts freaking out until his phone starts ringing. Great timing. Eraser looks at him with a confused expression, trying to see his phone and check who's calling him. Mind your own beeswax, Eraser, he says. Then he jumps away. He knows exactly who's calling him, since he knows the ringtone. He must have gotten his UA letter. Hello? Kachan? He says excitedly before putting it on speaker. It was hard to hear things through his costume, and not like anyone was around here. Plus, they wouldn't know he was calling, since Katsuki had his name set as Kachan on his vigilante phone. I got in. Seriously? He says, maybe a bit too loud. Yeah, I did, nerd. He says, very proudly. You know where I'm gonna be, so wanna meet me? We can celebrate when I'm done. Let me just tell my old hag. Was this useful information? Shoto wasn't really sure. But he got to hear the vigilante's real voice, and from what he assumed now, the kid sounded young. Too young. He also learned that he does have friends, and maybe this Kachan can help him find other vigilantes. It also seems Verdant may have a job. All that currently mattered was him getting his coffee. He walked to a nearby cat cafe. Hello! Welcome to the Vigilant Cat Cafe. Would you like to order? A young, cheery voice said from behind the register. 1 black coffee, please. Okay, that'll be 350 yen, please. Thank you. Your order will be done soon. We will find you and bring it to you when it's done. In the meantime, you can take a seat with the cats, the red-haired girl said as she accepted the money. Shota sits down on a couch to wait, and soon enough the cats come and sit on his lap. And not long after, a blue and black-haired kid came with his coffee. "Enjoy," the kid said nervously with a smile. He turned away and walked somewhere quickly. "Wait, don't I know you from somewhere?" he says suspiciously. "No, I don't think so, sir," Akari says. He has a name tag. And then walks away. Aizawa ends up staying at the cafe till 1 p.m. And since he was getting occupied with the cats, plus checking forms for the new UA students on his phone, he stayed even longer. "Sensei?" a young and tired voice says as they sit on the couch next to his. He looks up from his phone. "Hello, problem child." "I didn't know you came to this cafe. I've never seen you around here, and I come here a lot," he says, taking a sip of what seemed to be coffee. "A good choice. Very acceptable." "Yeah, well, this is my first time. I think I'll come here more often. They have good coffee. And cats," he says nonchalantly, though the coffee is really good. "I see," Hitoshi says, putting a hand over his eyes. Shota figures it was probably bright in here for him, and he was probably tired. He looked tired. Hitoshi stays as Shota stands up. It was now 1:15, and he was definitely staying here too long. He hoped Hisashi wouldn't be worried or mad, though he did write to him at a certain point with a picture of a cat. "Are you ready to go?" a loud voice said, causing Shota to turn and see who it was. He was surprised to see it was Katsuki Bakugo, the kid who ranked number 1 in the UA's entrance exam, the one who had beaten his student by 10 points. And from everything he had seen during the exam, this kid was a hell of a monster and had some major anger issues. Though this kid didn't seem like the same person he had watched yell at all the other examinees. "Ready as I'll ever be. Let's go." "Ready as I'll ever be." Anyways, Akari says, grabbing the hand of the spiky-haired kid. They were probably celebrating since today was the day that some of the people got their letters. Maybe this is just how he is when he's not fighting. He would have to see. This kid would be in his homeroom class while he was teaching. We'll see how he actually is. Notes. The end! Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm sorry if this story is going really fast and quickly. That's how it's supposed to be for a little while. But pretty soon it's going to slow down, and I think I've already done all the time skips that I need. The next major time skip will be far, far, far in the future. And the biggest time skip may be a month or just a few weeks. Very exciting, very mindful, very demure. Anyways, that is the Verdant Analyst, Chapter 7. Hope you all enjoyed, and this is Tango signing off.